everyone, welcome back. Today I'll be doing my January 2013 wrap-up. I read about 4 books and one audiobook I listened to. The audio is just Thursday Next, First Among Sequels by Jasper Fforde. This is the 5th book in the series, and I'm re-listening to these just in preparation for the the latest book that came out. I wanted to just catch up on the series and get all the facts back in my head before I start the latest one. The first book that I read, and I've posted a review on this one, is 90 Miles to Freedom by Hilton. I really enjoyed this book. It's a story of Colin and his younger brother Joey and their parents Betty and George. The story sort of starts off with a very tragic event, and within this book we learn that Colin has a secret that he's kind of kept from everybody, and perhaps that this secret is a cause of this tragic event that happened early on. I love the way the author put the story within the story, and there's quite a surprise at the end, and the way things are all kind of tied together. Really enjoyed this one. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. Then the next book I picked up was the sequel to The Rise of the Governor series. This is book 2, The Walking Dead, The Road to Woodbury by Robert Kirkman and Bonisinga. I really enjoyed this. The first half, there's absolutely no mention of the governor. It's following a whole new band of survivors. There's about a group of 100, but it focuses on our main character, Lily Call, a young woman. She's kind of suffered anxiety all of her life, and this whole new world she finds herself in and the dangers have kind of pushed her closer to a fellow survivor by the name of Josh. She feels kind of protected by him, although Josh has stronger feelings for her. And early in the book, events kind of lead Josh to get kicked out of the group, and Lily decides to stick with him, along with her best friend and a small other little group of survivors. So we spend that first half kind of following this little band, trying to find some safety in this crazy world they're in, where they eventually come to the gates of Woodbury. And that's where the second half of the book begins, and we're reintroduced to Philip Blake, who's now begun calling himself the governor. Or actually, other people have begun calling him that, so he's stuck with that term. And the town is sort of in disarray in terms of a lot of people fighting amongst each other. There's this barter system that somewhat works, somewhat doesn't. And it's causing kind of chaos within the people there. So the governor kind of devises a rather gruesome form of entertainment to kind of calm everybody's nerves and kind of gain control of them. And throughout this, you start to see sort of the depravity take place in the mind of the governor. And Lily kind of has to decide whether she's feeling safer within the walls of Woodbury or outside. Might be better. There's really a lot of good action. I love the pacing of it. I love Lily's character. She really goes from a complete change from the beginning to the very end of the book. And I can't wait to read book 3. I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read, which I don't have currently because it's an ebook, and the only picture I have I can show you kind of. This is Chameleon by Cidney Swanson. This is book 2 in the Ripple series. I mentioned this on my last Friday Reads that I was going over, and you can see all the covers there. There's Rippler book 1, Chameleon book 2, and Unfurl, which I'm currently reading. That's book 3. In book 1, you meet the main character, Samantha, and she has this ability to become invisible. And she meets a young boy by the name of Will. He's on the cross-country team with her. He happens to see her turn invisible and kind of becomes an ally. And between the two of them, they try to determine what the cause of this is and how this is happening and everything like that. Will's sister, her name is Mickey. She's studied under a professor, studied genetics, and she has a connection to sort of information that might help them. And they also meet a character by the name of Sir Walter. He lives in France, but he was a colleague of Mickey's professor. And he's been communicating with him in book 1. And in book 2, Chameleon, our main characters, Samantha, Will, and Mickey, they travel to France sort of as a school field trip. Mickey comes along as a chaperone. And their main purpose is really to go and meet with Sir Walter and learn more about Sam's abilities and also what this sort of connection is. There's these you get these journal entries within book 1 and book 2 and sort of notes and things from this gentleman by the name of Hellman. He was involved in these Nazi experiments back in World War II. Helga is his daughter, and she's sort of continuing these things, and they seem to be trying to track down people with this ability, and so Sam's life is in danger. And so they travel to France in book 2, like I said. Really, really well detailed, the settings and things like that. I feel like you're there. I love the action and the pacing, the building of sort of the relationship between Sam and Will in book 2. I definitely recommend this series. I've never enjoyed one so much. I wish I wouldn't have left that gap between book 1 and book 2. I'm definitely not making that mistake with book 3. I kind of just started and dove right into it. So I definitely recommend this series. Hi, Skippy. She just came downstairs. So I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. And the final book I read this month was Girl of Nightmares by Kendare. This is book 2 in the duology, and book 1, of course, was Anna Dressed in Blood. I really enjoyed Anna Dressed in Blood. This is a story of a ghost by the name of Anna who haunts this house, and anybody who enters this house is killed. Cass, our main character, is a ghost hunter, yet when he enters this house, for some reason, Anna does not kill him. And a relationship kind of develops between the two. I absolutely love that book. It had the most amazing ending. I felt that book should have been a standalone book. It could have just ended right there, and I would have been satisfied. But because it was such a great book, I had such high hopes for the sequel, and I think that maybe I put it too high up there. This one kind of fell a little flat for me. I think the beginning of it, Cass is sort of, he's depressed about, Anna's sort of gone. He's wondering if she's okay, because of what happened at the end, which I'm not going to get into, but, he's worried, and then he starts to see her. And she starts to make these appearances, but he can't communicate with her. And it was Thomas, his best friend Thomas, and Carmel. They kind of are worried that maybe he's imagining things, and it's just a really slow pace, kind of getting moving, and finally he convinces them that he is seeing her, and he has to find some way to save her. She's in danger, because each time he sees her, she seems in worse condition. So they decide to travel to England to meet Gideon, a person we met in book 1, to find out a little bit more about the Athame, the knife that Cass uses to dispatch ghosts and send them on their way. He thinks that might be something that he can use to help her, and it just seems to take a long time getting to this point, getting to England, discussing things, getting things ready for events that are going to take place. We do meet a new character by the name of Justine. I kind of liked her. She was pretty interesting. I think the main thing is that this book didn't have as many points where Anna shows up. I think I wanted more Anna in the book, and that was a bit disappointing. And to tell you the truth, I wasn't really satisfied with the ending. It was a bit confusing, a little underwhelming, especially compared to book 1's ending. I really think they should have stopped at book 1. I won't say I hated this book. I just was a bit disappointed in it. It was just okay for me. It was an okay story. So overall, I only gave it 3 out of 5 stars. So that's my January wrap-up. Hope you guys read something good last month. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.